Cool. We've got, of course, Minnie here today. We've got Subtle Gradient from Coinbase NFT. Really happy to have both of you. We'll be doing a quick just update first, and then we'll dive into a bit of the discussion. So first of all, obviously, we're moving to Spaces. Welcome, everyone. We're also going to be continuing kind of the sneak peeks and like hints at upcoming announcements in these, and recapping some of the stuff that we did over the past week. So last week, of course, we had our Halloween party, and we had some great pumpkin entries. A lot of momentum around Axolittles happening. So really thank you all for participating in those. Cool. So let's dive into a little AMA or introduce our guests here too. And I think we can cover some of the updates in our discussion too. So you want to say hi, Subtle Gradient, introduce yourself a bit too?
Hello, Internet people. So I am Subtle Gradient on all of the metaverse-related things. In real life, they call me Tom. I don't know why, but they've been consistently doing it for a long time. And, you know, it's hard to get people to... Anyway. So, so I am currently working at Coinbase on the Coinbase NFT project, which still really feels weird to be able to mention like in public without like looking over my shoulder. Like, oh right, this is public now. Awesome. So like my background, like I've been in the web since web 0.001, and now we're all the way up to web 3.0. I got started in like the BBS era days. So like if you check out my profile on Twitter, and all the art at the top is all old text mode art that I did mostly in the 90s. So my art, I haven't really done any art since the 90s. So, but I'm thinking about bringing it back. Nice. Yeah. And so why I'm here is because my life, I've had like an emotional attachment to something digital. I've created stuff for the screen for forever, but like seeing like a little SVG on my screen, like poorly rendered, it wasn't even like scaled properly, and just like putting this and like this is mine. And like the emotional impact of that, of like, oh crap, I gotta do something with NFTs like now. That was like a year ago. And then so I've been all in as long as I can remember, which is at least a few weeks.
How long, you mentioned like you couldn't talk about certain things, and before we'll get more into kind of what you're working on too in a bit, but how long, can you share anything about how long Coinbase has been building this marketplace?
I don't know if that's public, but my personal involvement in NFT related things at Coinbase has been, I mean, if you look at my OpenSea and scroll back to the bottom, like look at when I got my first NFT, probably around then.
Okay, great. Everything is traceable.
Yeah, like it's the public blockchain. So now you know.
Cool.
Now you know how long I have personally been involved with it. I cannot publicly state how long the project has been going, or I'm not even sure if I know. So like.
Yep. Sounds good. Cool. Well, we'll definitely get it. Let's get into we'll get into a bit more about some questions for you and your background, your involvement there. I'd love to before doing that, Minnie, if you want to jump in here too, and also just introduce yourself again to the wider community here, and if there are any art updates or things like that we can share, would be great to hear too.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Minnie. It's short for Miniyami. I'm the artist for Axolittles. I'm also one of the co-founders. And I guess we can talk a little bit about the art update. I don't really have anything to tell you this week. Most of the important stuff was shown last week, but if you follow Twitter, you've probably seen a few sneak peeks. We already finished. So as I said last week, right now the dev team for the Axe Aquarium is on hold until we get all the assets for the game, if I can call it like that. So we finished all the hats. We have some faces, and right now our 3D artist is working really hard to get all the outfits, all the clothes, and it should be ready, I guess, in a week. And after that, our devs are gonna take over, and they said they should have a working version in probably a week as well. So I guess that's all I can say about the art.
Yeah, it's looking.
I'll retweet some hats.
Nice. Yeah, it's looking amazing over there, Minnie, and it sounds like the devs are working, or the artists are also working really fast on that as far as that front goes.
Yep.
And again, and so that's basically on the Aquarium front. We're definitely moving ahead pretty quickly. We should also have either later today or tomorrow. We're still working the exact timing. And announcement out about staking and some of the dates around that. So definitely keep an eye out for that announcement as well. I'm really happy to be getting those out and how those two are going to be working together. I think we're really building a sustainable and a high quality community here where we're going to have a ton of utility for using the token and for hanging out in the Aquarium. So definitely a lot of stuff coming down the roadmap really quickly here. November is going to be a real exciting month for Axolittles for sure. Cool. So looks like Solid Gradient, you've got your hand up, or you're just looking to speak over there. How's it going? Maybe you even have a question. So we could dive into questions or also about Axolittles, and then also I'd love to talk a bit more about what you're doing in the space too. Go for it.
Awesome. So things are really busy at work for a couple weeks, and it feels like I'm kind of behind on some of the Axo news. So I've seen some of the info about the Ax Aquarium. I get the idea that, okay, it's Axos, it's 3D, it's on the internet somewhere, and I feel like there's so much I don't know about what it is. Can you give me the kind of the noob version of that? What is it?
For sure. And I can take a stab at it, and then I'd love to hear Minnie's perspective too, because Minnie's actually the one that's working on it behind the scenes here. So at a high level, we are working on a virtual world where you can see your Axolittles in 3D in your little Axoquarium. So version 1 is where you're really able to, so we're rendering all Axolittles into 3D rendered versions that you'll be able to connect your wallet to and see in your virtual space. That's version 1 that we are just talking about as far as the first version that's shipping. So that's the concept of the Axoquarium is first to create kind of like a micro environment where you can kind of see your own Axolittles, and you can also incorporate kind of like decorations or deck it out a little bit. Version 2 is where, that's like the first step, which is pretty crazy because I think we're going to be one of the first projects to actually ship, the 3D rendered versions of PFPs in the virtual world, which is very exciting. What's coming then in version 2 is really the ability we're going to be partnering with a bunch of other projects to pull in other swag or NFTs or ways to decorate your Aquariums. You can create your own.
I want to talk about that kind of thing so much later.
Yeah. And what we're thinking is that it's really not just a space where, you can, it's not just an Axolittle space. We're really thinking about this as a wider space where other projects can really have their NFTs displayed and things like that. And you can move your, create kind of your own little virtual world there. And then version 3, which is, I think, a little bit down the roadmap, what's going to be immediately the team is going to be focusing on after shipping these first 2 versions is really the multiplayer aspect. And I think Minnie can talk about that a little bit more, but the vision is basically then to connect all Axoquariums together, so you can kind of walk in between them and interact with each other.
Dude.
And it'll be more like that kind of situation. So that's kind of the like high level picture of what's happening with the Axoquariums. There's a lot of potential, and that's what we're building out with like partnerships as far as like what you could pull into them and how you interact, and what other projects like display in there. So maybe that helps a little bit.
That's super helpful, because like the biggest things that I'm seeing kind of missing from the NFT space is like, who's going to be the Nintendo of the NFT space? You know what I mean? Of just like, Nintendo does one thing exceptionally well. Well, like they'll take a thing and they'll ratchet up the level of quality of every single tiny little corner up to 11. Meanwhile, you know, Xbox games are barely playable, and people are just like beating their chest about like the frames per whatever the heck. Meanwhile, Nintendo is just happily chugging along at 720p. Like, everybody loves it.
It's
because like what's the Animal Crossing of NFT, right? And it feels like that smells like it.
It's really funny that you mentioned that, because that's, I think, the model that the exact model that Minnie's going off of.
Yeah,
you know, like,
it's kind of
Minnie,
funny.
do you want to talk about that a bit, Minnie?
Yeah,
it's funny because it's what I've been repeating for, well, the last few calls we've had. I always talk about Animal Crossing, and yeah, basically that's what I would like to create. Everyone gets a room, and even in the long run, I think, so you could play as, I think in the first versions, you will be able to, I think it will be in version 2, you'll be able to walk around with your Axolotl as your character. And so yeah, my goal would be to visit other worlds, other houses. Basically, in the first version, it will be just a little room. I think you'll be able to place objects, but it won't have, it will be saved. It's just a proof of work. And after that, we'll get a working token, and you'll be able to purchase furniture and a lot of stuff like that. And
very cool.
I think I forgot my point, but oh yeah, I wanted to say the goal is to expand the community. Basically, I don't want this to be. This project is good, so I don't want to restrict it only for the Axolitlls. I think in the long run, I would like to create 3D avatars for a lot of the other famous projects, and do it in the same way that we'll do Axolitlls, which is basically checking your wallet and decoding, basically using the metadata to get the attributes and reconstruct it in 3D. And so we could have apes walking around, punks, and all of that. So I'm really excited for it.
I feel like Axos and Cool Cats, like in the real world, I think a cool cat would want to eat an Axo, but I think in the metaverse, I think they could be buddies. Because like I want to invite a cool cat over to my aquarium, right? How cool would that be?
Yeah.
I hope they can breathe underwater, but
we'll have to have the above water section too.
Well, maybe they can do like the bubble head thing, like the squirrel from what's the name of the SpongeBob?
Yeah.
SpongeBob. Thank you. How did I remember SquarePants, but I forgot SpongeBob?
Yeah. Now we can imagine something. We can say they drink a potion to breathe underwater.
Yep.
It'll be fine.
They'll be
fine. And just to add to kind of where all the pieces fit together too. So it's like we have these, we're helping other projects also kind of realize their projects in 3D. We're also going to be launching staking, which will have direct utility within with your items in the Axoquarium. So that's kind of like the other piece that fits in too, where we'll actually kind of have this utility currency that you can use within this world, which is also pretty exciting because, immediately you could see how this, the utility could expand really, really quickly as far as like what you could do across the space. Yeah.
So, like, can you say more about that? Like, is there a like specific example you could walk through? Because like, I really like the cat ears, for example, on my one smiley guy there with the green background.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to be able to like have a hat or like, you know, have different clothes or.
For sure. So I can't speak to the like accessories directly on the Axos, because maybe many you can. What I could say is like, for example, you stake your specific Axo, you earn the token back. You could potentially, if we're partnered, let's say with Cool Cats or someone else, buy the Cool Cats beanie or poster to put it on your wall in your little Axoquarium. So things like that. I don't know, many of you want to talk about accessories too. I think those are all still open discussions.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna add other accessories maybe on top. I think I'd like to keep basically some unity, some uniformity, and so we'll keep the same hats and everything. Also, there might be conflicts because you can't add things on top, but maybe we can add some pets because right now they're a little bit naked under the t-shirt, so that's an option.
Yeah, I definitely need some pants.
That's pretty funny.
Or both.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit on the roadmap. I hope that clears it up too for also people who are tuning in. I know things are moving really quickly, and it'll all kind of become clear as we get things out the door here too.
Very cool.
What Subtle Gradient, do you want to talk a bit about just like anything else you can share about, like, I'm sure we're going to get the question in the AMA here, like when Axolittles listing on Coinbase, like what can you share anything publicly or just about the development of the platform or what's coming out and or general timings around that?
Cool. So, like, as far as timing goes, that's obviously nothing that I can talk about. Like, even for A, I don't know. B, even if I did know, I couldn't tell you. And C, if I did tell you, I would be wrong. So, like,
cool.
So as far as timing goes, I have no idea.
Cool.
So, like, just for some context of like who I am on the project, like, I am not a decision maker. I'm just an engineer. Like, I'm like a front end engineer. I'm building out like the user interface and like the CSS and animations and responsive layout and if you hit the website and it's slow to load, I'm the guy to blame. And if it's fast to load, you shouldn't even notice. There would be nothing to praise because everything should load fast, right?
Yep.
And like, if you resize your screen and the NFTs that you're looking at on screen look bad, I'm the one you should complain to, and I will go fix it, and I will make it look right. If they, if there's like animations in between screens, like if you click on a thing and like it doesn't instantly respond to your click, complain to me, I will fix it. But you will not see that anywhere. But if you do, please tell me and I'll tell you.
Perfect.
So that's who I am.
Great.
Like, I make it look pretty and I make it work right. But as far as like business decisions, I don't know. I don't want to know.
Cool. Yeah, we can't. We won't be able to answer some of these questions probably in the chat. That's fine.
Because like I want to know too.
Yep. Cool. And so maybe we'll go through some of these AMA questions, and we can also do some just a few other things after that. But if you haven't right now, if you're listening and you want to jump into the Discord, we have a weekly AMA questions channel. Subtle Gradient's in there also. But you can drop your questions and we'll kind of go through them here one by one. If there's something we can't answer, I may either I'll just skip it, or I'll just say we can't answer that, or either Minnie or Subtle Gradient if I ask you something that you can't answer, just of course tell me that. So I would say first question, it looks like we've got a check on it already. It will be, we can't talk to it, like how will Axolittles be positioned on the Coinbase platform? All we can say is that we've got Subtle Gradient here, and we're looking forward to the platform coming out, and also exploring and seeing how Axolittles will be positioned there.
Yeah, so I mean, there's we can talk about what we do know there. Like what we have publicly announced is that we're, the first version is going to launch with Ethereum, right? So like anybody that signs up and they have an Ethereum NFT will be able to sell it, list it, etc. So like we've announced that. So definitely we know conclusively that Axolittles will be on the platform. We know for sure because like everything on Ethereum is going to be on the platform, right? So anything other than that, anything more specific about like the entire project being on there, or like where it's going to show up on lists, or what pages it's going to show up on, or even if there are going to be such a thing as lists, like I don't know. I'm looking forward to finding out.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that much too about it. You heard it here first or second, because it's public information already. Third. But definitely excited about it. Cool.
I mean, I've got 15 Axos, right? They're going to be on there. They're already on there because I, see the alpha version of it. So I'm making sure all of mine look good.
That's what counts right there.
Right.
Cool, and yours look great. I like your the little one sitting on top of the head of one of your in the profile picture here. It's looking great.
Thank you. So like when the feeding frenzy went off, I was just like, I cannot believe people are selling them such ludicrously low prices, and I just went through and I bought all the ones that I couldn't, that I loved more than my ETH, knowing that ETH was gonna, I was expecting ETH to hit 5K this year. I would be surprised if it didn't, but I am not an investor. This is not investment advice. But, I wanted those Axos at those prices more than I wanted the ETH. Right? Because, I don't know what they're going to be worth. I don't want to sell them. I want to keep them. I want to see what happens with them, in 2022, 2023, 2024. I'm excited, to see what happens. Because there's only 10,000 of them ever. And, how many people in the world are going to be into NFTs in 2025, right? A lot.
Exactly, and this is definitely a super unique project, and I think also having joined somewhat recently myself too, I have the same sentiment. It's just wow, this is incredible. This team is shipping, so that's why I joined, and I think it's exciting to see to know what's happening behind the scenes. I look forward to sharing that every day as far as what we're actually getting out. So it's pretty amazing. And everyone should be very stoked about what's coming down the pipeline here.
Yeah, I'm stoked about what's already here. You look at all these other profile picture projects. First of all, most of them are just static JPEGs, which, no offense to the JPEGs. I own many a JPEG and I love my JPEGs. But these are GIFs. That's cool.
Yep.
Especially if the more and more platform metaverse spaces that exist in 2021 let us use GIF profile pictures. I'm pushing for that. With Coinbase NFT, I can neither confirm nor deny that we will have GIF profile pictures, but we will. It's not official, but it's unofficially true because I'm gonna fight to make sure that it is. I think it already is. I think I would have to add code to make it not work, and I'm just not going to put that code, right? Unless they make me. But they won't, right? They don't care.
I think that's going to make Minnie very happy here. Because Minnie, you want to talk a bit about developing or thinking about developing this as not just a static project as well?
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you for keeping the animation because it was so hard to create. It was so annoying. So many times I had issues with the code. So basically, it was all done with Python and After Effects, and I had to export frame by frame the things. And basically, it's like creating a static image, but 50 times. So your code sometimes gets a little messy. So yeah, I'm glad it all ended up working out, and that the final batch of 10,000 didn't have any issues. I went through all of them, I think one by one, just checking, because it's kind of nerve-wracking. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the animation. It's really what I wished for. I think it makes them alive, basically.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. Is like the you can tell the attention to detail, and it's kind of like that kind of like animation of it's alive, it's sitting there, it's real. Kind of like when playing Animal Crossing or whatever, and each character's just kind of standing there and not really doing anything, but they're alive, you know? Compared to every other project that I've seen, almost every other one. I think a few of them are kind of animated, but almost all of them are just kind of like pictures of something that you hope is alive. And frankly, some of the more ugly profile picture ones, like, I'm glad it's not animated, because ew.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, yeah, it was really complicated because so I really wanted an animated profile picture, but I didn't want it to be on MP4 because on OpenSea the MP4 doesn't autoplay when you're on the page. Right now, all the Axolittles play the animation directly, and so if it's not a GIF, it doesn't work. But a GIF is such a pain. You have 256 colors, so basically it goes against your name subtle gradient because you can't do any gradient, so you have to do static colors. And I basically finished the project, I looked at it, and then I found out every gradient that I did doesn't work and it starts glitching out, so I had to recreate a lot of attributes, but it looks fine now. I'm happy. I'm
crazy.
Yeah, I'm impressed because, like, hand coding GIFs is such a pain in the butt. Like, I've been doing this for a while, and like, GIF used to be all we had. Like, JPEGs were too big. If you wanted to have any kind of transparency on the web, you'd have to use a GIF, and then So actually, the name Subtle Gradient comes from me hand coding like pixel per pixel GIF gradients, just hand pixel dithering the pixels to get the smooth blending. So I'm
wow.
I feel the pain of trying to make things feel smooth and be animated.
Yeah, and it's also been crazy, Minnie, to see then moving that into 3D renderings is even crazier.
Oh yeah, I think it's maybe easier getting it in 3D than actually creating the GIFs. Now I have a really hatred for the GIF format. I hope we move on to something a little better, animated PNGs or something. But yeah, it was the only one supported by OpenSea, so I had to do it. But maybe on the Coinbase platform, you're able to support other animated images formats.
So yeah, what I'm shooting for there is support for every single image format that is supported by a browser, and we're having to use a media service because if you just kind of do it the easy way and just take the NFT images and just put them on the web in an image file of just like each AXO is 5 megabytes. Like I have 15, that's 15 times 5. Like that's a lot of data to be on screen. So we have to do run it through a service that'll squash it down so that it'll render on the page. I think OpenSea is doing the same. Well, I mean, you have to do that.
Yeah.
Facebook does that, Instagram does that, Twitter does that. Everybody has to do that in order to optimize it. And what we're probably going to do is actually convert it into an MP4 and then have that autoplay. because it's like hardware accelerated on mobile and all that jazz.
Interesting. That's gonna.
Yeah,
But then when
I think that's fine.
when you load like the full one, it'll just load the actual GIF, because people want to see exactly what they're getting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I wonder how OpenSea does it. Is it a squash down GIF, or do they use MP4s as well?
I think the way the OpenSea, it looks like they're doing GIFs still, even when they are compressed. And we might do that. Like it's there's still some technical details, and I'm gonna make sure that we do a lot of performance analysis on all platforms, and we'll probably do something subtly different depending on whether you're looking at it on mobile, and we might do it differently for like Android versus iPhone, and maybe even slightly different for different versions of iPhone, because we want every single person to have the best possible experience, both with performance and with the quality of the art that you're looking at. And it's a tricky balance to strike, but that's my whole job, so right, do it.
You had to get the subtle in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the MP4 format is a good call, because I'm a perfectionist, so I looked at the OpenSea page, and what I see is that because I think they keep it as a GIF, so by squashing it down, sometimes you have things disappearing. So basically, some axoliotls don't have white teeth. It compresses the color, so it's the same. And sometimes I see people sharing them, and I'm like, oh no, OpenSea, why did you squash it like that? And
yeah, that's not acceptable.
I'm really hyped.
Yeah, I've got one that's all smiley, so I'll make sure that I double check on that one, make sure he gets compressed nicely.
Oh yeah, please do.
Because I'm also a perfectionist when it comes to the little details, and I cannot tolerate things looking gross. Which is like, I don't get why so many of these NFT projects are ugly on purpose. Like, who likes that? Is it just me? Like, I like cute
Which
stuff.
ones do you in particular? Oh, I've seen one recently in 3D, which was really, really ugly, but on purpose. But
on purpose.
I think people just want to be different, because in this market, it's saturated. So even in the cute department, I wanted to stand out. That's why I worked really hard on the animations. But yeah, people just want to be original.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And you did a really, really, really good job. It's so obvious that you paid such a good attention to detail. Because I was before I got any of them, I was looking through trying to find where things screwed up. Because like to do 10,000 of them, you'd have to auto-generate it somehow, right? And the chances of having everything line up just perfectly with every single mouth on every single head animated.
Yeah.
It was
so much work.
Hard.
Yeah, I think,
a lot of trial and error, basically.
Yeah. So I would love and you talked about After Effects. So I did at Facebook. They use After Effects for a lot of stuff. You know how there's I don't know if anybody still uses Facebook, but there's this feature that after you've been friends with somebody for a while, it'll do like a friendversary, and it'll generate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that uses After Effects, but it uses a program that I wrote that automates After Effects, and so a designer will design an After Effects video, and then they'll tag certain layers in After Effects as being dynamic. And then the script will go through and extract all of the dynamic sections and all of the motion data and everything, and then some compositing code will pre-generate the video file with holes in it for those dynamic sections, and then I forget exactly what technology does the final composition, but it'll take all of your dynamic, photos of you and your friends and your profile pictures and stuff, and it will basically put them into those places, but with all the full 3D rotation and everything, and it's all automated.
Oh yeah, it's a template. Yeah. So I looked at something like that, but it was a little complicated.
Cool.
I know software just like that. It's called Data Clay. So I guess
Cool.
yours was private.
I open sourced it. It's on GitHub.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
It's called Node.
You can get it. Okay, so you can get it for free because I found this exact service, but I think it's a few $1,000, so it might be a bit expensive.
All right, we're going to
mine's
subtle
like
gradients.
some very, very low level code. Like there's still a lot you have to like write on top of it. It's just it lets you talk to any Adobe app from Node.js.
Oh, yeah. I guess the biggest point is that it's free and open source, so it's always better.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think anybody uses it other than Facebook.
I guess
But
it's
you
a big
can.
achievement.
Just to jump in here, I think we should go through. We're coming up on 45 minutes here, so I think we should jump into some
right.
AMA questions.
Right, sorry.
No, super interesting conversation here, and I think what's also amazing is just like the community can see how like difficult and challenging it is to actually get this type of artwork out. It's pretty amazing what the team here has achieved as far as like actually moving, unique characters. So definitely each one is super special, and I know I love all of mine. So let's get to some of all of these, some of the questions. I'll go through some of them quickly. Are there plans to expand the brand? I think Axos has potential to grow mainstream adoption. Basically, the answer is we're working on a lot of things behind the scenes here on the brand side and on the partnership side. So we're definitely we'll have some updates on that front. But I would say our team agrees that we definitely think that this has potential to go more mainstream and really actually help lead the NFT space into growing to the next phase of growth. So really excited about that, and we'll be sharing that as we come down. Next question, KYC. How do you see KYC changing the NFT landscape? I don't know if either of you have any ideas on this. I think we're definitely probably in relation to DAOs. This could be somewhat interesting where we can really have people's identities kind of tied to certain things. But I would say like this is such a big subject. I don't know if we need to dive into KYC right now. Do either of you have thoughts on this, or maybe subtle gradient in relation to how Coinbase or these other platforms are thinking about it, if there's any insight you have there?
I definitely have thoughts on this. Like, first of all, I have nothing to announce. There's Coinbase NFT has not mentioned anything publicly, as far as I'm aware of KYC. Like, but let's be honest. Like, Coinbase is synonymous with things being safe and comfortable, right? So, like, our brand is on the line for making sure that people don't get like royally screwed over when it comes to the NFT space. I want like the average person to just kind of join NFT land and have fun without having to feel like they're having to wade through a bunch of like fake stuff. They don't know what's real or not. Like it's a big problem that has to be solved, and it's kind of like Coinbase is one of the few that's really trying to take crypto kind of mainstream in a safe way where like old white guys won't like crap their pants when thinking about it, right?
Yep, exactly. That's great.
To put it bluntly, like that won't go. We're probably not going to say anything that way in a public PR piece, but that's kind of what it boils down to. Old people kind of control the world right now, and you don't want to unnecessarily stress them out. That's not fair for them. They're just trying to like run the world.
But I do think like what you mentioned just about Coinbase trying to be and being that like secure place that people come and buy crypto, being then the secure place where people can come and buy NFTs. I think KYC will probably, as you're saying, be part of it, and it'll, that
Maybe.
aspect of it will, it could be, that aspect could really open up possibilities to, a huge audience as far as bring new people in where you have a certain level of security, or at least you're working with people at Coinbase who are trying to really focus on that aspect of it. So they've done that for the crypto space, and I think that's what we can probably expect from the NFT platform as well.
I mean, I'd say that's a reasonable thing to expect. I don't know. I don't have anything to announce there. I don't know anything special when it comes to that, but just guessing.
Yeah.
This is officially a guess, just my own personal opinion, that we're going to have to figure something out, because we can't legally sell stuff to people in North Korea, right? If somebody in North Korea wants to give me money, I can't let them do that. So I need to know kind of with some reasonable certainty that whoever I'm doing business with isn't. I'm not going to go to jail for selling my JPEG to them, right?
Yeah. I think this kind of gets to the next question too, which is around if, how Coinbase could be vetting these projects, and, how you make sure people don't get rugged. Are there, you mentioned earlier, hey, we're going to be adding all of these projects. Do you have any idea how that process could also work as far as vetting and kind of ensuring the quality? I'm assuming it could work something like OpenSea, where there's verified projects and there's ones that aren't verified, or something along those lines.
Yeah, so that's kind of I'm not on that part of the project, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But I know that's the bare minimum, right? You absolutely have to have some kind of verification of I want a DOS punk, legit. I want one of those so bad, and I nearly bought one the other day, but it was wait a second, that's not max capacity. Who is this?
Yeah.
And I almost got screwed over. I don't think max capacity and DOS punks are I don't know if they have the blue check yet, right? So You can't just go by the blue check. That's not good enough. We need to do better than that. I don't know what that looks like, but I know that's our problem to solve.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think people resonate with that, and I think we're seeing so many scams too in the space that the high quality projects are really showing through, and people are starting to I think understand you should really get in with one of the great things for their community. You can be selective about which ones you want to jump into. I do have a really important question here that came in from Shiva. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the Axolittles Cuteness coefficient?
I'd say a minimum of 11,000. Come on, you can't get cuter than look at Miracle down here with the cute little girl one with the cute eyelashes and ice cream on her head. How adorable is that, right?
Minnie, you've done well.
And the count of metaverse, look at it's a robot playing Pong on their face, but wearing an adorable little anime beanie. Come on, that's you've got to be a monster to not just absolutely love that.
I agree.
I think that's what I don't know what you were thinking with rarities and everything, Minnie too, but maybe the more rare actually they're all cute across the board. It's not just the more rare ones that are cute. Yeah. So anyone can really get in on the cuteness.
There are a few with some questionable fashion sense, I gotta admit. Why would you wear a business suit and that hat, right? That doesn't make a lot of sense. But some people just have questionable taste. Who am I to judge?
Yeah, to each their own.
There's something for everyone here. And let's see. There's a few questions about staking here. We'll have announcements about that in either later today or tomorrow as far as dates go, and then we'll have more details on the actual tokenomics of that forthcoming before the staking goes live. So we'll have that to share Someone's asking about L2 technologies with staking. I think that's a fair question, as gas prices are ridiculously high right now. But we're thinking about all the tokenomics behind that as we speak. So keep for all the staking questions. I won't address them right now. We will definitely get to them in the coming week here. Let's see. There's a question about bringing other projects in. Yes, of course, we're doing that. And when merch, I don't know, Minnie, if you want to talk about the merch at all too, or what
Yes.
we have on the horizon there.
Merch. I'm down for the merch. Like, I've already printed out like a few of my NFTs like as physical pictures in my office, but like I want to buy swag, shirts, hats. Like, give me all the things.
So we have plans for the plushies. So we want to basically, right now, it's not sure for now, the merch. We surely will do it, but I want to tie the merch into a rewards, complicated word, reward system with the token. So basically, you could get in-game items for the aquarium, but you could also get IRL items, basically, if you want.
I like that idea.
Yeah. So I think the plushies will be like that.
Like, I'm waiting with bated breath.
Yeah. So it's all about the tokenomics. It's a really the most complicated thing right now. It's not the game. It's not doing the art or anything. It's thinking about a sustainable system for the token inside the game.
Yep, absolutely. And we talked about that a bit earlier too. We're definitely looking at, how do we add utility for this long term? How do we create the most value for the community with this? So we're not launching it, today because, but we'll be announcing the launching date because we're really thinking hard and thinking through how this becomes something that grows into a top project that can really bring the space forward. So definitely merch is part of that, and cute plushies are part of that in the future.
You already have my money. I'm excited because I know Minnie's gonna do it right? Because like the level of quality with just the gifts of the art itself, I know that you're just the kind of guy who's gonna make sure all the details are right.
Yeah, I'm an annoying perfectionist. I'll make sure the art and everything is right and how I see it.
Yeah, so I'm willing to wait. Like, just like for Nintendo, right? Like, I'm willing to wait for Nintendo to, it'll be another year before the next Zelda comes out. Like, fine, because we know it's just going to be better.
Yeah, maybe not 1 year, but we're taking our time to get the art perfect. So we don't have multiple artists working on the 3D models. We only have one right now to keep a sense of uniformity. So all the models have the same art style. And so,
Nice.
yeah, that's why
That's hard.
it's a little bit of time, but it will be perfect.
Yeah, keeping the same art style when you have multiple people working on it, that is an almost impossible task. So I'm very impressed.
Yeah, so we can keep one artist for the characters and maybe one for the actual world. This way, there's a sense of uniformity. You don't mix everything.
Oh yeah, well I'm excited for all of that. I think so. We've been going for quite a while here. I think we should wrap it up. We haven't gotten to all the AMA questions, but Subtle Gradient, it would be great to have you back for future discussions. It's been fun and
Yeah.
Getting your insights.
Can we do
but
a rapid fire, just get through as many of them as we can? Because we've got 30 seconds. We can do 7 questions in that amount of time.
Let's see what we got here.
Let's go.
To trade your Axolittles, you will need to transfer to Coinbase, or will this be the same kind of trading as OpenSea with MetaMask?
It's all Web3. It's all in your non-custodial wallet. Next question.
What is Coinbase's approach on building a bigger NFT community?
We're same thing we did with crypto, bringing it to the normal human beings, like who are, not early adopters. Like we're gonna do the same thing with NFTs. Like we want everybody to be doing this, and we think that it is obviously the future, and we want to be in on it. Like,
great. What makes a lot of sense. What good things can you draw from OpenSea and other DeFi marketplaces? What is there to improve?
OpenSea is, for what they do, they are the perfect tool for that job, right? Like, OpenSea is where I would go. Like, if I were trying to flip NFTs and I really need to know, like, right now, give me the, let me see it as an app, like trading them and stuff. It's not the place that I would go to, like, look at my own art of just like, it's like for that currently I'm using Zerion just because I can like pin my NFTs to the home screen. But like the philosophy of we're not competing. Like there's zero competition in the NFT space right now. It's just too big, right? Yep. Like this is everybody wins. Like if Coinbase is successful, OpenSea is going to be more successful. If OpenSea is successful, Rarible is going to be more successful, and Foundation is going to be more successful, and Coinbase, like we're all in it together. So I think like this is actually something that the Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, talks a lot about, of just like we're in this together. Like crypto is different. Crypto is not the same as the rest of the world. Like we have to destroy each other to win. No, we're in it together.
Yeah, I really like that answer, and I think also what Minnie was saying earlier, it's our approach to building out a 3D virtual world where you can see all of your, or multiple as we add partners of your NFTs in 3D, and we'll be supporting that because we want to see all of these projects come to life together and support each other. So I think that's really, this space, we're so early. If you're on this call right now, you're so early, and we're in a really good place right now.
Yeah, we're the OGs right here. Everybody in this room, we're the OGs in this space. All of us.
Yep. And maybe a follow-up question on that, I think that's relevant is someone was asking about, they have friends and relatives that are over 40 years. I don't know if that's old. I don't know if that's relevant here, but are just entering the space. Let's talk about new people entering. They're saying that like it's challenging for them to even just buy BTC and ETH on Coinbase, or it seems complicated. I guess how do we break that barrier to then get into NFTs and share the value there?
Well, we've got a lot of people at the company that like basically everybody at the company agrees that everything's too hard and everything kind of sucks. Like it's as easy as it can possibly be right now, but that's not good enough. Right? Like we're not going to be happy until it's just like really, really easy and really, really safe and just kind of a no-brainer of just like any idiot can kind of do it on accident, do the right thing on accident without having to worry about it. Right? We're trying to make all of crypto, including NFTs, just like not a big deal. It's just part of life, right? It's not huge drama. Gas fees. I'm going to do a thing on crypto right now. Like, when's the last time you thought that when like buying something on Amazon, right? It's just like, I'm using a credit card system with international payment. You just use it. Like, it's not a big deal. That's kind of like what we're trying to do with all of crypto. Just like, it's not a big deal.
Yep. Cool. Well, you've heard it here first. We'll be. Thanks again for joining. I think that's the end of the rapid fire there. And yeah, definitely a pleasure. We'll have a lot of upcoming announcements, so keep your eye out. Shout out to some people in the chat here. Nate's here, Crip, Beep, Witty, Memo, and everyone else.
Hello.
Who's joining? Really great to have you here, and looking forward to building this next stage of Axolittles together, and having you as part of the community. We also want to see all of your Axos in the chat. So. Some point, pop in and start sharing them because we'll give them some love.
100%.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, we will keep an eye out, like I said, for announcements. We'll have you. We'd love to have you back sometime next week around the same time. We'll be having another chat. We'll be able to announce who that's some guests in the coming days, but it'll be other large platforms that we're aiming for and people in the wider NFT space. So definitely tune back in for some more insights. And great having everyone here. Jump in the Discord, hang out. You're so early. We're really looking forward to what we're building here together. All right, cheers, everyone.
Goodbye. See you on the Discord.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. See you later.
All right, we're signing